So I passed on my resume to them. So after a week or 2 weeks, I got a call, a telephonic call to come and come into the office and have a first interview.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another podcast episode. In this episode, I'm talking to my friend and a co-worker whose name is Pratik. Pratik and I went together to Chico State for Masters in Computer Science. We both graduated and now we both work in the same company. He works as a QA engineer, and that is what we talk about in this episode. He explains the mindset of QA automation engineer. He talks about the skill set of automation engineer. He also talks about release engineering, DevOps, and other fields which are related to test automation, QA automation, or software engineering test. I really hope you enjoy the conversation. It's gonna bring a lot of value to you if you listen to the entire conversation. Also, Pratik, if you are watching this video, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time and sharing your journey with me and my audience. And on final note, if you like the conversation and it provided you some value, please share, comment, and also subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot to me. And now just enjoy the conversation. Thanks, Pratik, for doing this and spending your time and sharing your journey. I'm pretty sure a lot of my audience is going to be happy listening to your journey and maybe help with their career direction.
Yeah.
Let's start with a quick short intro. Like, where are you from in India? When did you come to United States? And what do you do now?
Sure. So my name is Pratik. So I came here. I finished my undergrad in 2009, and then I worked for a few years, and then I applied for masters here in US, and then I came here to Chico State. I got a couple of admissions, but I chose Chico State because the program was good, and I came on 2014, did my masters and graduated in 2016. Then I got a job to EXL from a career fair in the college, and then I'm working here.
Yeah. So, let's start into. I want to talk about job search and how you got this, but before that, I want my audience to know what do you do. So, what's your current role, and let's talk about that.
So I work as a QA engineer, automation engineer, and partially do functional testing too, based on demand. Just testing a software, an application using a software tool. That's what the automation engineers do, testers do. We try to control through that tool, writing our scripts, and which all comes together and everything is automated.
Right.
So with a minimal interaction.
Manual intervention.
Yeah, manual interventions. That's about my work, and then we do a bit of DevOps, like getting the reports of the test and running daily executions of all the test cases we have, check the reports, what's breaking, what's not, how is the result, and all this stuff. So that's the overall
role.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick example, just for my audience to understand a little bit more about automation, like QA automation. I know there's like manual testing, which is you look at for example, Facebook login page. That's a very simple example.
Yeah.
And so you try to break that login page, like you try happy path testing, negative path testing. So what's like really you do if you had to test Facebook login page?
So as far as Facebook is concerned, so suppose you have a username, login, and forgot password, register as an account. So first I would check all these fields are displayed, and then I would go with the text fields, whether can I edit the text field or is it read only, and I enter valid credentials on that, like valid logins, and then I go inside the Facebook homepage, and then I log out, and then I come test the invalid credentials, and then go to create account, check all the fields over there, and make sure the URL is pretty secure, like HTTPS.
And Right. So basically, but this is entirely automated, right? Like you are
Yeah,
just writing the
yeah,
script
yeah.
that, hey, you're telling computer or robots in
Uh-huh,
general, like,
uh-huh.
hey, go
Yeah.
enter some random username, enter the password, and then click this login button. So
Yeah.
that's basically the
The
gist
entirety.
of
Yeah, yeah,
automation
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So I'm curious because there's a lot of myth that after computer science, and you did masters in computer science with me, of course. How did you find out about this field? Like,
So one more point I want to add before this question. So when I compare it to functional and automation, so in functional you are seeing it, like like you have another, like few other intuitions to test it, but so that could be a bit of advantages, like when you're doing manual testing, like when you're logging in, so let me check that, let me check this. But in automation, once you write the script, then it executes. So then you have to reconsider it. Okay, I could have done this, so let's try to add one more script, like a step into the test
right.
case. And then so there are subtle differences, but automation is the future, so
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
consider that.
right,
But I
totally.
cannot ignore the functional on the whole completely. But it is required. But
Yes.
once the application or the software gets stable, then we move on to automation.
Automation.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So now, that's very important, and I am curious to know more about how did you find out this field, because in general, when we come from India, we think of computer science. After you graduate, all you do is developer job or web development,
Yeah.
or a software engineer. But you found out this QA engineer or QA automation engineer. So how did you know about this field, or like how did you find out this field?
So once I did my, like after my undergrad, I was looking for a job. It was in 2008 2009. There was this huge the economic crush which happened. There were crisis of jobs and all. So I joined a testing course, like a small 2 to 3 months course. So where I explored tools which I liked.
Yeah.
Then I kind of it was interesting. Then I started working on some of my in-home project, like exploring Gmail, exploring Facebook.
Right.
Why don't I like empty the trash by my automation script, like a Gmail
Oh,
automation
that's
script.
cool.
So it was kind
Yeah.
of interesting.
Yeah.
That was my start. So I liked it, and then I ended up in a functional job, which was pretty new to me because I hadn't done any testing job
Right.
before. So I did my internship there, so which was pretty interesting. I had to. It was a small team, which was started really new at that time. So we had to do everything, like from like setting up the environment. Getting all the VMs to test
Right.
the application over
Right.
there, to do all these testing job, and then all the kind of database related job, and like everything on a whole. So that was pretty fun, a lot of work. And then I kind of got bored, like after 2 to 3 years, and I started like scouting, like, what should I do now? Should I
Right.
study further?
Right.
And all this stuff. So then I ended up in Chico State,
Right.
graduated from there. Then I got interested in automation again, because I was kind of not that much into development.
Right. Core development.
Yeah, core
Yeah.
development.
Yeah.
So I was pretty interested in, like, how do I test this application? How do I break this? How do I explore this? That kind of stuff. So I ended up in EXL, getting an internship here.
Right.
So which was an automation role.
Yeah. So how did you? So I'm going a little bit more technical. What are the skill set required for QA automation?
So basic programming is really good. You have to have it. Um, getting to know, so before going into automation, getting to know the right tool, the software testing tool, and choosing that, and how much support would you get it from the online, like from the web.
Yeah.
That's most important, because if you're using this tool which don't have any forums online, where
Right.
there's no support from them and any users,
Yeah.
so you'll be stuck in something and it'll be forever, it'll be like scrapped again.
Yeah.
So that's important. And getting to know basic programming, that's what I said. and scripting is also good.
So let's name some of it. So you said basic programming. It could be any languages.
Java,
Ruby, Python.
Python is really good now. It's pretty booming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then what are some of the tools which are like booming in automation field?
The most popular is Selenium right now for web automation tool, and the next what we use is Water for exclusively for Ruby programming. But Selenium works for multiple programming languages. Yeah. So
and what scripting languages?
Java, Python. Java is most popular.
Right.
You'll get more support from that.
Yeah.
Python is really good, kind of spiking there, and JavaScript. There are a couple of tools which work on JavaScript. You can like do JavaScript scripting and then have an application to automate. And Ruby, that's what we use.
Right. Right. Yeah, so Ruby, Java, JavaScript, Python, and then there are many more whichever based on where they want to go. So now that we know, someone who knows that I want to go into QA automation, they know that these are the skill sets I require.
Yeah.
How do they build their skill set in the college or after watching this video?
So getting right from college, having a basic programming foundation is really good. Having getting good or taking up good or interesting projects for the courses, and pretty challenging ones too. It's really good, and which has programming and the overall software development skill that you want, like software engineering, programming skill, how to interact with, how to become, how to take up work if your teammate is not working, like if he couldn't do it, how can you help him out, like everything involves all those kind of skill set, which helps. Yeah, I think.
Okay. So basic, normal programming subjects and then some software engineering classes which will teach you like team building skills and all of that. Cool. So let's now dive into job search because that's very important. And how did you, you already talked about that you found it in career fair. A lot of people think that career fair are not really important or they don't do anything. So I want you to validate my point where I say that every student should attend career fair.
They should attend career fair because even if it's not that promising, just give it a try. Just like push your resumes to their desk. Let them have a look at it.
Right.
Like it's their job to call you or not, but you have to give your resume like your best to that. So my job search started from my third semester or the start of the fourth semester. So I used to almost like every day I used to like just dedicate myself like probably like 1 or 2 hours in LinkedIn, just to look out for the relevant job postings, which was in QA, software engineering or software testing. I used to go to LinkedIn, Indeed, that helps. Indeed is good, and just apply, and once you get the call, give it your best, and then let's see how it goes.
So how many jobs did you apply to?
I don't have an exact count, but on an average, 5 to 10 jobs. On an average, a day. Both so together, like
would you call like at least 500 jobs
for a month?
No, like
for a year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Pretty much, huh?
But there could be some days, okay, just take a rest day, just not test.
Right. Let's talk about what was your interview like for this QA automation role.
So once I got a call, so I gave my resume. Laksh was there. Some other HR.
Laksh is one of our co-workers. I don't know that.
So I passed on my resume to them. So after a week or 2 weeks, I got a call, a telephonic call to come into the office and have a first interview. So it was pretty good. So I wasn't asked about any automation technical questions. Because I was under complete functional before I got into automation here in EXL.
Right.
Because in India, I was like 3 years professionally into functional testing. And then I did my in-house kind of passion, small projects like not non-professional ones.
Right.
The interview was like, how do you test this login page? That was pretty good. Like like go to just make sure your all is good. Like the username, password is all fine. You gotta have this forgot password, create account, all those minor basic checks.
Yeah. So they gave you like a login page and
Yeah.
said like,
Test
tell
is
me the
like,
test
yeah,
cases.
yeah,
How would you try to
yeah.
break it, or how would you try to test it?
Yeah. So
Cool.
like like how's the happy path, and what kind of a negative test would you do?
Right.
All this stuff. And then they asked me about any automation experience. So I just told what I was doing non-professionally, like in-house
Yeah.
thing. That was pretty. They felt good about it, and then ended up.
They offered you internship, and then did you had to do another interview when they had to extend it, or just because you performed really well, they thought like it will be nice to give you full-time offer?
Because like after my internship.
Right. Yeah.
For my internship, there was only one interview, but based on my performance, they offered me a full-time job.
Right. Yeah. So it's very important, just for my audience who's listening or watching, that they like internship is a big opportunity. If they perform really well, there's very big chances that you're gonna get full-time. And
it's not at all bad to have an internship, because even if you have worked a couple of years back in your country, even if you want to start as an internship, it's not at all bad. You can do it, but it's not like that you have already worked, but you're seeking a higher position because you have an experience.
Right.
Sometime it might work, but it's okay to have an internship.
Yeah, but I also say that internship is the best way to get full-time jobs in the United States, because you've already proven yourself as an intern. So yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about future of automation. Like, what do you think? Is this like a booming field, or is this gonna be like?
Sure. So automation is booming.
Yeah.
It is the future. If you compare it with functional testing, because you cannot completely get rid of functional testing. You need to have minimal testing at the start, but not on a high scale. You'll have like 20 people on a team, testing the stable application again and again. So you can just cut it down and have some code and make it run every day. You don't need that. So automation has a good future with I think not only just automation. If you have few other skills, like having a knowledge of DevOps with automation, that helps too. Like kind of a basic release engineering tasks with automation, that helps too.
Yeah, these are the fields which can be available in general of umbrella of computer science, that it's not automation, release engineering, DevOps, software development, database, DBAs. So no, that's awesome. Did you wanted to add something, or?
No, to continue your answer, like automation, release engineering, database, developer, UX developer or UI developer. Like there are like developers have two categories, like backend developers and who just deal with all these code programming
calls,
and the ones who are like UI UX, just like field cosmetic changes and all the stuff. So that's the one. And just thinking about, I think that's about it.
Cool. And so you think that there's definitely future scope of automation and QA automation, and what are like salary ranges for QA automation?
So if you compare it with a bigger city, probably nearing to 100K. So 100K, but as a entry level engineer in a bigger city, but in the same level of position in smaller and like 2-tier or 3-tier towns, probably like 70 to 80K is good.
And obviously as an international student, we always also worry about H1b. So is there a thing that QA automation doesn't get H1b? Or
no, that's not true. But that kind of depends, because if you're into automation, like you have done computer science, which is mainly into programming, pure technical, and you are doing something which is not at all technical, like in job. Like if you are a functional tester, that wouldn't need a master student
Right.
to perform the task. A bachelor's can do that. So that would be a negative point on that, a kind of negative point.
Yeah.
But if you have automation testing, there is no way that's not an H1b
Right.
job.
Yeah. So basically, even if you're an QA automation engineer, you still have the same salary range. You still have the same level of eligibility for H1b.
The level of talent is almost equal to the
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've seen sometimes that they make more QA automation people sometimes might make more money than business analysts, project managers, and all of that too. So that's awesome. No, thank you again, for sharing all the insights of QA automation field and your journey, your experience. What's the one tip would you give for students who are pursuing computer science or want to pursue QA automation?
It's a good field, but I think it depends upon the person how passionate he is about on testing, because software developer, everyone wants to go there, even if he doesn't like it. He wants to go there.
Right.
But this is a kind of field that if you have a passion to break stuff and to explore the application, if you have that intrigueness to do that, that's definitely this job. And QA automation is the future.
That's awesome. Thank you again so much for your time and sharing your journey. Can I link your LinkedIn so people can connect with you and ask questions if they wanna?
Yeah, sure.
You ready to become famous?
Maybe.
All right. You know how we end the videos, right? Keep smiling, keep hustling.
Okay.
Do you want to do that for me?
Sure.
Until our next episode.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.
Cool.
Thank you.